Today's guest is someone who sits right at the cutting edge of one of the biggest shifts in business today, AI and artificial intelligence. Rhys is the CEO of BusinessAI, a company on a mission to make AI simple, practical, profitable for small and medium-sized businesses. He's no stranger to scale. He's led over $1 billion worth of growth and transformation projects globally. He's founded and exit ventures. He's even found himself trading insights with Richard Branson on a balcony up in Bondi. Now, while the world talks in buzzwords about AI, Rhys and his team are quietly doing something different. They're cutting through the hype and helping everyday business owners with basically 1 to 30 staff, 1 to 5 million range in revenue, and actually how to use AI to save them time, boost margins, and remove stress. If you've ever wondered if AI is a distraction or a lifeline for your business, today's conversation will give you some clarity. Look forward to you listening.
Hey, before we dive in today, if you haven't already, hit follow on the Empire One podcast and the like and subscribe. Every follow helps us reach more people, bringing even more incredible guests and sharing the lessons that have helped you build your own empires. Thank you so much for being part of this. Now let's get started.
Welcome, Rhys.
Thank you.
Excited to have you on today to talk all things AI, which we're really excited about. I suppose a lot of people in the world and a lot of business owners are probably quite excited about AI, just not exactly sure how to influence their business yet. But first, we'll just really start with some rapid fire questions. So first up, what is your morning routine?
Yep. So I think when I thought about this, I think I said grounded kids and chaos, or grounding kids and chaos. I'll go the other way around. Most of my mornings are chaotic with kids. So what I try to do first is there's some things that I do around grounding. Sometimes it's getting to the gym. Others is just doing a bit of journaling. And I'm also an advocate of breath work and stuff like that. So just getting myself set for the day, trying to get out of bed at least half an hour to an hour before the kids, and just getting a little bit of time to myself before the madness starts.
Yeah, I need breath work with my kids as well. It's just like,
yeah.
Is it that, and maybe with the kids, it's like that pause before I start sweating and shower going, because I know I'm not allowed to sweat. Like,
I like people that know me from, like, I can be quite a binary thinker. So they think it's quite unique that I do believe, like, I just do a 5-minute breath work, I do a bit of journaling, and I don't know why it works, because my brain can't work that out, because I'm an X's and O's guys, but it just works.
So is there a book that changed your thinking in your life?
So whenever I get asked about a book, I always go back to Atomic Habits. It's probably the book that I've got the most out of, just in terms of just those little changes you can make. I think you get caught in saying, what's the silver bullet? What's the one big thing? And what that brought me back to is just, 1% better every day, one thing every day.
That is an awesome book. I love the whole British cycling team story in there. For those that don't know how to basically turn, a cycling team from the worst to winning the Tour de France like 6 times and the Olympics, which is quite amazing, just through 1%ers.
Yeah,
so
1% better. It's a strong methodology.
It is. Yeah. What is the worst business advice you've ever been given?
The statement I hate, and I know a lot of people love it, is fake it till you make it. I just think that's really bad business advice, I think, and just advice in life. Like if you don't have a passion for an area, if you don't have a skill set, or you don't have something unique, it's really difficult to fake it till you make it. So I get the concept, like have a go, like don't be scared to take risks and have a go at something, or step up into something when you not think you're quite ready. But the whole complete fake it till you make it, it drives me crazy.
What's the best thing you've outsourced?
The best thing I've outsourced is my workouts. Like I have.
Again, some of you don't do them.
So I still do them. But the thinking of. So I like to get to the gym and I just switch off. I hand myself over to the instructor. So I like to do classes, and that's it's sort of my happy space. Sorry.
So when you said outsource, there, I thought so what I do is I watch somebody else and they do the workout for me, and
honestly, I'm looking so ripped.
Yeah, I guess being a business owner or a CEO or quite senior in corporate, and then having a family and kids, I want to go somewhere where I don't need to make decisions and people don't expect me to make decisions. Yeah. Like, tell me what to do and I'll just do it.
It's funny you talk about decision making, because there's so many, I've read so many things, there's like so many like tech CEOs and business owners, especially in America, they've actually taken decision making so far that they remove even getting dressed
Yeah.
So they have like the same t-shirt. They've got like 500 of the t-shirts that are all the same,
Yep.
all the same jeans, all the same shoes. So there's that decision. They don't even have to think about what to put on that day because everything's the same.
Yep.
So they just pick out whatever the t-shirt is to remove the system.
I can resonate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to get dressed in the one?
No, I'm pretty consistent in what I wear.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And what's one guilty pleasure you've got?
Sneakers.
Okay.
I have loads of sneakers. I'm a sneaker tragic. So
Many.
mainly Nikes, definitely Jordans, Airs. I certainly have a few Adidas, New Balance. So I'm just a sneaker tragic. Whenever I dressed myself and my two boys, it's like, sort of jeans, t-shirt, and sneakers. So how many? Probably. I do. I'm not someone that hoards them, so I do give them away to charity when I've had enough of them, or hand them off. So probably about 20 pairs at the moment.
Not a collector. You don't keep them.
Not a collector,
Deep
no.
like clean wrapped and you wear them.
Do you have them in like boxes all stacked up so you can see them all the little?
Yeah.
You can get those little nice Perspex ones if you've got them.
No, they're more just
on display?
shoebox stacked.
You've had a pretty interesting career. You've been an entrepreneur. You've also worked for big organizations doing very, very large projects. Give us a little bit of background.
Yeah, so kind of fell into corporate, did a technical IT diploma, ended up being a systems engineer and head of network at a GE business, was in financial services, then sort of moved from there into program management, product management, project management, then found out I had a bit of an aptitude for strategy and business transformation, did a lot of digital transformation projects. I think the total value of the 5 I was involved in were probably over 100 million. Then that led me into general management and doing an executive MBA, and then head of region for a Volkswagen business, which was really great, and did 5 new market entries for them along with the digital transformation project. So learned that I really enjoy building, scaling and growing businesses, but I guess once they're set up and done, probably there's other people that are more suited to just, I guess, tending to the farm. And it sort of lit the fire of wanting to do my own thing. So transitioned out of that about 5 years ago and went into a startup accelerator to learn what I didn't know about sort of bootstrapping a business. And then ended up starting
What did you learn that you didn't know?
It was kind of reversed, like what I thought I knew I didn't know, and then what I thought I did know I didn't know, or sort of reversed the way. So, I guess the real challenge is when I guess a lot of the businesses I did in corporate, I was in a salaried position. I'd put together a market plan. I'd fly off to Germany, present to the board, get my approval, come back and grow and scale that business to profitability. There's a whole different world that you enter into when you're growing and scaling your own business, because you have all that sort of sitting back cognitive in your head. You've got a lot on the line. You don't have the fallback of a salary in a big corporate and things like that. So I guess it's the additional stress of having to deal with what if this doesn't work.
How did you deal with that?
I'm generally a pretty pragmatic person, so just always and constantly going back and just validating and testing market and understanding our path to profitability. We were given mine and my co-founder's background. We were very focused on revenue generation and profitability. It was a little bit different than a standalone tech SaaS business. So we were revenue generating from day one. So we always had a bit of confidence around our ability to be able to start to draw salary out of the business and then grow and scale the team, because there's that commitment you make to people as well. So I guess they were a little bit different in the way we did it, even though we positioned ourselves as a tech startup. So I guess that helped with that sort of stress to understand, okay, we can see revenue and then we can make strategic decisions based on talking to our investors about how fast we want to scale and maybe burn some cash, versus then potentially chasing that break-even point.
So then that led you to having a chat with Aaron, and I think there was sort of a whiteboard moment I heard about when you just kind of started to work out what I suppose you and Aaron could do together with AI. talk us through how that kind of came about.
Yeah, that was really, really interesting, and I guess it was a couple of personalities coming together that could draw something on a whiteboard and go, yeah, let's do this. Yeah. I'd exited my business toward the end of 2023. I'd spent a lot of 2024 just working with growth scale technology businesses. The AI had just been released. I could see a lot of adoption challenges, particularly with small to medium businesses I was working with, understanding AI, but then being able to apply it into business. So there are a lot of barriers to entry around that. Guy and I connected on LinkedIn because there was opportunities in the wider group. Came in and had a chat, and it ended up being, Aaron and I, not far away from where we are right now, sitting in front of a whiteboard for 2 hours and scribbling something up. And we both looked at each other, and he said, when do you want to start? So, yeah, we saw a model where we could do 3 key things for businesses, which is educate, so show businesses what AI really means and demystify it, because there's a lot of information in the market that is, I find, very confusing for businesses. Then to be able to go in and consult and say, well, here's all your opportunities and here's your roadmap, and then to potentially, for the right businesses, go in and build and deploy those solutions. So, yeah, it was, So,
I mean, that's an amazing start, because I suppose with business nowadays, AI is just a buzzword, right? And everybody thinks they're using AI in the business. Oh, we're an AI business. And the reality is they're using ChatGPT to try and streamline a few of the emails and a few of the workflows for some copy and stuff. Where do you, I suppose, see with business AI being able to, I suppose, bust that myth and be like, well, actually, there's a whole series of things you now need to do as a business to actually be AI ready and to actually get above your competitors? Because I think people are concerned about AI and be like, oh, let's be concerned about taking their jobs.
Yeah.
Or, is my competitor doing lots of things that's going to make them more efficient and make them more profitable? Where does business AI come in and, I suppose, help with those things?
Yeah. I enjoy one thing you said there, because I think it's really important. And I think every business needs to think this. Are your competitors using AI to get a competitive advantage on you? You need to assume yes. So you need to, think like number 2, that there will be someone in your industry that's going to adopt AI probably quicker than you are and get that competitive advantage. So that's the mindset you've got to have. Winding it back a little bit, it's going back 15 to 20 years, it's like saying, we're an AI business is like saying we're a business with a website. Well, it's mandatory. We like to talk about it. Yes, it's a technology and it's a software, but you can't think about it like that. It's going to fundamentally change the way businesses operate, and it's going to be able to be deployed into businesses and create enormous operational efficiencies. And the low-hanging fruit or the big opportunities at the moment are businesses that are workflow heavy, document heavy, repetitive task heavy. That can be a lot of back office. People would see them as the more boring solutions, but they're also the ones that can free up so much time and hours where you can then look at redeploying people in your business to more value creation. So taking people away from the peddling roles and putting them into more the value creation, the knowledge generation, the innovation roles, we think is incredibly important. So we look at high value, high repetition, low complexity things. And there's lots and lots of examples around that.
Can you give us a couple of examples, maybe some use cases for different industries?
Yeah, so a really common one is businesses that are customer contact heavy, whether it be email, whether it be FAQs, or whether it be call centers. The ability to use AI tools to then streamline all of that and be able to take a whole chunk of those customer contacts and automate them with really quick, basic solutions that give great value to the customer and take a lot of the heavy load out of call centers, out of contact areas. And the best things about agents, as people call them, I like to talk to them as that they're effectively just employees, is they don't take days off. They can work 24/7. They follow process. They follow workflow. So yes, AI you need to test it and tool it correctly, but it's less likely to go off tangent than a human. In terms of back office, we've worked on solutions around chasing overdues, reporting, a synchronization of data so you can understand the key KPIs in your business. And I'm sort of duplicit in that. I'm very much a strategist and a market growth and a go-to-market person, but I'm also a massive data geek, and I don't know whether that's the way my brain works or originally starting as IT, but I'm also I talk manically to the businesses I work with about understanding the numbers and how they impact your business. So scalable operations is a great place to start with AI.
Because I think you're right. Because I think any business can implement some sort of AI in the business to make them more efficient. And I think that's probably one of the myths we'd almost like you to bust, is that I think a lot of businesses think, well, actually AI is not for me. It's not going to work inside my business. It's too complicated. I've got systems already set up.
I don't have time.
I don't have time to implement it. I don't have a tech degree, so I'm not going to be able to do that. That's from hundreds of owners that I've spoke to, that's the kind of feeling I get when you start to talk about AI, and they think they're just dipping a toe in with, well, we can use it for emails. Yeah. And we'll put a smart chatbot on our website to answer some questions. Yeah. That's really all we can do.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Yeah. And that is the challenge. I think when we all first saw AI and started to play around with it, probably AI wasn't quite ready for the moment, in that people started to use it, and it gave. You could ask it the same question and it'd give you 5 different answers if you asked it the same question 5 times, and that type of thing. It's now moved and learnt and evolved so quickly that now probably business isn't ready for the moment of AI. And they don't understand the abstract nature that it is explained a lot of the time and a lot of the information that's available. And I think what you see on LinkedIn and Instagram and the other ones, like, I would say 90 to 95% of the stuff you see is fluff, and AI can't actually do that. But what it can do, it can embed itself into the operations of your business and create enormous amounts of efficiencies and time savings. And the gap is that then working with people that can take the technology and translate it into basic business terminology and basic problem solvings within business, and then go in there and deploy it and understand that what is the ROI, what's the return on investment. And I think that's one of the huge knowledge gaps at the moment. There's this, I think 80 to 85% of AI pilots are failing, and most business owners don't understand the tangible ROI. So if I spend $50,000 on building 2 agents and deploying them into my business, how do I measure that? And that was the one of the huge gaps that Aaron and I saw in the market. So then we went about creating a solution that can sort of demystify that and bring business owners on the journey, because everyone we talk to and all the market research we've done, and Aaron talks to thousands of your students every day, and you would see them through Empire One too, is that they're definitely using tools. Now, they might just be using it to write emails on ChatGPT. They're very problem aware. They're excited, but they're also kind of terrified, and they don't know where to start. And that is the huge gap in the market, and that's...
So how do you find where to start with AI? I've got say I'm a solo entrepreneur, got maybe a couple team members, and maybe I've got 20 team members. Where do you start in your business AI journey? Because ChatGPT, that you're not really an AI business. You're using ChatGPT to write a few emails and to do a bit of copy for you, or to do your LinkedIn post for social media. Where do you start?
Yep. I would say to people, just start with something simple and basic. So work with yourself, work with your team. What are the things in the business that you're like, I know I need to do this every day. This is a thing I have to do 20 times a day or 50 times a week. Then just go and do your own research. Have a play around with it. Find a tool. Just start. And I think everyone is going on that journey. There's some that are probably more inquisitive and sort of digital native, maybe like myself. But I'm amazed at how easy some of the tools are to use. So don't fear it, like get in and play around with it. I've seen a lot of businesses even challenge. So you've got, a CEO or a business owner, and they'll just grab almost the youngest person in their business, and they'll say, hey, let's get together for an hour and let's just play around with some of these tools. Google it, search it, use chat and say, hey, I want to start to solve these problems in my business. How would you suggest that I do it? Prompting is a big thing, or just learning how to talk to the AI. So something like one of the foundational models.
What do you mean by foundational model?
So like ChatGPT, right. Claude, so the Grok, some of the big Gemini, so some of the bigger models. Just learn how to talk to them. I think even when I first started, I probably started to treat it more like Google search, find me a. But then when I realized it's probably more like a human, so I treat it like an apprentice. And then, practice prompting or practice talking to it, and you'll be amazed at how quickly the results start to improve.
Yeah. So then from a starting point with Business AI, so obviously now Business AI is up and running. What's your starting point in assessing a business? So what do you look for first in terms of someone that you think you can help in terms of actually implementing some AI tools and helping them actually become more efficient?
Yeah. So we've been fortunate. We've seen the opportunity is being huge, and Aaron is very excited about the opportunity. So we've been able to build a multi-talented team pretty quickly, and so we have a number of different start points for customers. We talk about education, so we've been in sort of pilot mode. We've worked with some of the internal businesses within Aaron's group. We've got some external pilot customers. We're seeing some amazing results around then going in and educating them. Then there's opportunities to do a quick sort of diagnostic in a business. So let us do some background research. Let us come in and spend a couple of hours with the key people. There's then opportunities to come back and spend a number of days in the business, and then start to map out a real roadmap to say, here's all the opportunities, here's where we believe AI solutions can work for you, and here's how we will look at implementing them and measuring the results of that. So it might be you make 1,000 outbound calls a week. If we were able to automate 80% of those, that would free up how many hours in your business, and where could you redeploy those? So that's where we look to start, because every business is unique in its own way. But when we say that, a lot of businesses have the same problems. So then it's what is the solution stack that's going to work for them. And like I said, we've been able to start to build a team we've got 5 already. We're growing very, very quickly. And we've got experts in the education piece, the consulting and working with customers, and then building the team out through deployment as well.
So with Business AI and working with all these businesses, and you're saying you're starting with a few small ones and working out some solutions for them. What's the common problem that they all face? I mean, there must be something sort of that overarches between them all to say, okay, well, these are things that we can actually do some really quick wins for you.
Yep.
With AI. What's one that's kind of overarching between them all? Is it data? Is it reporting? What kind of things are they?
Yeah, the most common bottlenecks that we're seeing at the moment is generally in the operations or the back office. Okay. So it's how do we start to synchronize things for the customers? What's their basic tech stack at the moment? Do they use Xero? Do they use HubSpot? Because the AI, like any technology solution, it's only going to be as powerful, as useful as the data it sits on and the technology it sits on. So helping maybe non-digital native businesses understand that there's a few quick wins we can do. So let's go in and let's use some agents to free up some resources in the business and take over those high volume tasks. And when we start to free up those people, then what is the longer term solution? So as we sort of work through or back through the business into the front office, it's about, okay, we need to be able to save you time, money, increase profitability. But then once we get that set, how do we then help you grow and scale as a business? Because the AI journey is going to evolve very, very quickly. We talk about it's almost like the electricity moment, and it took businesses 50 years to tool up correctly for electricity and take advantage of it. This is going to happen much, much quicker.
So on that, what kind of businesses do? So you're saying it's like electricity moment took businesses 50 years. It's a long time to actually get prepared for something. So AI is moving so rapidly.
Yeah.
And we're on one of those probably exponential curves, right?
Yeah.
That, I think they were saying even recently, I was reading something about ChatGPT, and, each model they're bringing out, so they just released 5, a month or so ago. And they were saying the improvements between 3 to 4, 4 to 5. I know there was lots of drama about 5, but the speed in which they can release them is now was a year. Now it's 9 months, then it's 4 months, and now they can release them so much faster because the AI is actually helping them improve it. So what can business owners do on that exponential curve that seems to be there's something new every single day? There's a new AI product coming out every day. What can they do to get themselves ready?
Yep. And that's the great question, and that's
It's a $1 million question, isn't it?
and it's keeping people awake at night, because there's excitement about AI, but there's also this fear and terror. Like,
I think because nobody really fully understands it.
Nobody really knows. We haven't even seen fully agentic AI or full AGI where it thinks for itself yet, so we don't know what that's going to look like. And even a lot of the businesses that work directly in the AI space are saying, look, we are just in survival mode at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen. Now, I'm not trying to strike fear into everyone, but it's thinking, okay, I'm probably here on my AI journey, and then there's businesses that are coming to my space that'll be an AI first business. So how fast can I move along the journey, and how fast can they move backward toward me? So the example from a few years ago that I used to use when I worked in automotive is can an automotive company become a technology company faster than Google can build cars? And that's the sort of moment we're at the moment. So one is that I think there's a certain amount of ownership that needs to come from the businesses. Like, this world is changing. This is a Darwinian moment. You can't hide from it. This is happening. Unfortunately, if I was working in a call center, then probably my job's under threat. If I do a job that is highly repetitive, very structured work, not so technically or knowledge-based challenging, then it's probably going to get outsourced to AI. So then how do I evolve? But also, and that's why we exist, because we saw an opportunity just, within Aaron's group of companies, within his student base, and I was able to come in with the team that we built around us, and we've seen huge opportunities in the market. Say there's also a space where you need to partner up with someone, and that's the business we built around BusinessAI. We don't do independent bits. We don't. We want to be a partner in the AI journey with these small businesses, so we can move along it with them, and they can look at de-risking that. So it's kind of a split strategy. You need to get on the journey. You need to, and it's the hardest thing to do. I've run big corporate businesses, and I've also run my own business. So being able to stand back and pull back the lens to be able to say, okay, if I was to rebuild this business in an AI first lens, what would that look like? There are business owners that it's not natural to them to think like that. So then, look within your network, find mentors. Obviously, there's partners out there too. So it is a really difficult question to answer what you just said, because no one really knows. But the best thing business owner can do is, and I would suggest everyone, you need to start, because this is going to happen. The way your business operates today won't be the way it operates in 12 months, 3 years, and 5 years' time.
Isn't this, so we talk about AI and we kind of give it this sort of broad brushstroke. It's a technology, it's a tool, but it's about outcomes.
Yeah.
So is one of the basic things that a business can do is just document their processes? Because AI is plugging in, particularly when you're starting to do automation and workflow automation, is just understanding what your outcome is and what you normally do to achieve that outcome, and then map all that. And that's almost like a no-regret move, because even if it's AI today or AI in the future, you've got a process that works.
Yes, yeah. And that's exactly right. And so without trying to bore the audience, I started in technology and I worked for GE and then Toyota. So Six Sigma, Kaizen, very much process-oriented. So you look at, it might be an accounts payable process, and you say, okay,
removing the muda.
Removing the muda. So you map the process, and then you say, right, 60% of the workflow should work like this, and then you deal with what we call the edge cases or the outliers. So you'll never get a process to be exactly the same 100% of the time, but if you can remove 50, 60, 70, 80% of the workflow, automate it in AI, then you're going to then allow people to then continuously improve that process, or look at other areas of the business where they can continuously improve. So that's the sort of concept.
And I think, for, I suppose, employees and people, there's all this news about, AI is going to replace your jobs. I don't really think it is. I think what's going to be more of a focus is actually on the customer. Yeah. So that customer journey, that actual face-to-face interactions, that all the sort of automated part is done by AI, and the stuff that people don't really want to do, but still that face-to-face customer part, I think, is going to be even more prevalent, because people are going to want that more. I mean, I don't know if anybody's been in the Apple store recently. I think the staff almost outweigh the amount of people that are in there, right? Because they want that one-on-one interaction with everybody, which I still really value. I would much rather be go and test a product with somebody. They're telling me all the stuff it can do versus jump online and buy something. So maybe that's the key. You know, the AI is going to replace all those parts that have got the automation parts to it.
Yeah.
And the stuff that means something still, but isn't that customer facing, you know, giving someone a really amazing experience.
Yeah, and you think about where your staff add the most value in your business. So if you could allow them to spend more time doing that and less time running around chasing things. And like I said, it's a journey. You'll start with the easier wins first and the lower hanging fruit. You might look like say you've got a marketing manager, so they're then able to, rather than employ someone to do social media and someone to do external written advertising, print advertising, you're able to then to set that marketing manager up with what we call agents, or it's like sub-employees. So they'll have a content manager, and they'll have agents for other things. And they then do a lot of the heavy lifting. So they'll go in and they'll be able to really quickly build out a 3-month campaign and all the content and all the posts. And then the marketing manager just then vets those and makes sure that they're fit for purpose. So they're not actually sitting there creating all the content. They're actually just doing the value add bit, which is making sure that it's going out to the right audience, and they're measuring the results and they're reporting back to the business. So I think looking at each role in the business and breaking it down, what are the heavy lifting tasks, the repetitive tasks, and then saying, okay, can AI do that? And we even do it within the team that I've got now, where we're employed to be on top of everything that's happening with AI, and we catch ourselves out often. We're like, why are we doing it this way? We can just get agent on ChatGPT to do it. Its ability to be able to, I can get it to run reports where it would take me days and days to sift through all the data. I can set I use ChatGPT a lot. I can set it up to run in agent or deep research, and it does it in 20 minutes. So then I'm just evaluating the data, not actually crunching the data.
Yeah. How do you think about or approach like data security? A lot of businesses, you're like basically giving up your data to. Are you giving up your data to ChatGPT? Like, this is all my customer information, my records. Is there an approach to that business owners should think about?
Yeah, and you need to, you need to think about what bits in your business are the proprietary data, or the things that you consider to be IP, and making sure that you can either set, we call them the foundational models. There is now, as it's evolving, they're creating instances that you can get access to that protects your data. And then you can also then create, there are different versions of, say, an OpenAI or ChatGPT that you can get that are more open source, and you can control them and lock them away and only use them internally. And we're even looking at solutions like that internally just within the businesses here, where we know what our IP is and what our data sets are that we want to control, and then building security around that. So that's going to be a really important area that the whole industry needs to look at going forward, which is data security, because once it's in the wider universe of AI, then it is available.
Well, there's obviously quite a few reports on ChatGPT sort of early on, 12 to 18 months ago, with Samsung, one of their employees, putting up all of their code, and you could actually search for Samsung's intellectual property code that was on ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Potentially will feed anything back to you that someone else has put it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is obviously a bit of a risk.
Yeah. And with businesses that don't have the luxury or the economies of scale of being able to employ a data security person or a CTO, those questions are very pertinent.
Yeah. So I suppose that kind of leads to the next one, is like, where do you see AI going for business in the next sort of, 3 to 5 years? What do you think is going to happen? I mean, you must have some sort of idea where you think it will go. I mean, it's obviously, we've talked about the exponential curve, and there's a million things happening with million different softwares and different programs that people releasing stuff all the time. Where do you personally think it's going to end up?
This is where Rhys gives a 5-year prediction of AI.
Yeah, it's going to take all of our jobs. We're going to have robots doing everything. Oh.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of that. I mean,
it must just release a cool robot, right? That can't do anything.
I mean, any step change in technology, whether it's the .com boom and things like that, it changes industry, it changes jobs, it changes the way we operate, and I think you look at AI and you think this is probably going to be the biggest step change that any of us have ever seen in terms of how rapidly it's going to change the way businesses operate. Most businesses will look vastly different in 2 to 3 years' time, where there's a huge chunk of their business will be run by what's called agents and large language models, and the way roles augment. Most people's roles will be anywhere between, I would say, 20 to almost 80% augmented by using a set of AI tools to do their job. And I think people will get more and more used to that. We talk about AI being more like an employee or like an apprentice. The best part about it is, if you use it effectively, is it goes from being an apprentice to a PhD in weeks, days, months, not years. So that is certainly going to change. Some of the things, for consideration, I guess, particularly in Australia, we're in a very inflationary environment at the moment. So there's great opportunities to deploy this technology into your business to help, reduce OPEX or increase front end of the business in terms of volume into the pipeline and conversion. There will be industries too where AI makes it very deflationary in terms of product pricing. So that's why it's really important to step back from this and think about it. If this is deflationary, what am I going to do about it? And it's not necessarily about, people losing jobs. It's about saying, well, if we could decrease our operational expenses at the same time as, if we double our business but we can halve our operating expenses, then what does this business look like? And challenging, yourself as a business owner or an employee in a business to be able to do that. So, and almost it's the biggest challenge by far is going to be the change management piece. Humans, how do you get yourself and your business on board with this change?
I suppose the early adopters are going to win, right? The people that are changing their existing business into an AI-first model versus the opposite way around, because you do have a lot of intellectual property as a business owner that have, I suppose, not implemented a lot of AI products, whereas if an AI business comes along, yes, they've got the AI product, but not all necessarily the customer data or the information of what people actually want. So if you can, I suppose, implement AI quickly into your business and get underway, you're going to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're selling your product at $10 with a 30% margin, and someone can come in and an AI first business can sell the same product for $7 with a 50% margin, how are you going to compete? So it's almost like sort of game theorying at your business. It's hard because who gets the luxury to just say, I'm going to step away and theorize about what the future might look like? But it's an important time. It's a bit of an inflection point. Aaron talks about it. I talk about it. We've talked about it. It's like, this is going to happen. Yeah. Will AI make a 10% impact on your industry or business or your vertical or your market, or a 90% impact? Well, that depends. But the best thing you can do is get started on the journey. And that's the most critical piece of advice we give everyone. It's happening. You need to get started.
Yeah, I mean, I think people think it's more complicated than it is. Yep. There's so many different apps now and so many different things that you can do to learn about AI. I mean, YouTube's an amazing resource. I mean, I use it a lot. I just out of sheer interest to see if I could build one, I built a automatic AI chatbot that could basically close you into a meeting via SMS just to see if it was possible. Yeah. It took like 2 hours. And I don't have any coding knowledge whatsoever. Yeah. So there is, I suppose, stuff out there now and a lot of free stuff, which is awesome, right? That you can basically learn to do all these things without really having a developer background or knowing what to do to code.
Yeah. So I was, I've got two sons, 11 and 7. Sounds like I said 7-Eleven. The 11-year-old, I went into one of the tools and I built him. I called it Messi Mentor. So I built him an agent that talks to him. It sounds like Lionel Messi, and it gives him soccer skills drills. It helps him with his homework, and it does a few other things. And so I don't want people to think, "Oh, you're a tech guy, Rhys," but it was actually really easy to build. It didn't take, I'm not a coder. You can verbally talk to it. I'll probably build it in half an hour, and it might take a non. If you weren't familiar with it, I'd challenge myself. I think I could teach anyone to build that in 2 hours.
So really quickly, like, what did you do? Like, what were the tools that you used to do that?
So I built it on a platform called Replit.
Yep.
And you basically, so what I did was I had ChatGPT running on the side because I'm all about efficiency. So I didn't want to type out what I wanted Replit to do. So I spoke into my ChatGPT. I told it what I wanted to do. I asked it to create a prompt for the platform. I cut and paste the prompt into the platform. We then went through a couple of different iterations. There were a couple of little technical things that I needed to do because I wanted to wow my son and get it to talk like Lionel Messi. But other than that, it was really easy. So that's basically what I did.
Do you even have the Argentinian accent in there as well?
It does.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and that came about because I brought my 7-year-old into the office, and our CTO Av had built a similar app for his daughter that talks like Peppa Pig. So he went home and told his brother about it, and then I challenged myself to build his brother and own. So that's just like, yeah. So I'd encourage people to do something like that. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so getting super practical for, say, a business, a small business. We talked about just getting started, and getting started is a very broad, and even just like saying get started can be like completely overwhelming. So being really practical again, like kind of with what you just built with yourself. I've got 5 people in my team. I'm running a small real estate, suburban real estate agency. What should I do?
Yeah.
What's in terms of getting started?
Me, like, well, maybe it's not what everyone do, but I would get my team together and I would sit around the team and go, what are all the things you hate doing? What's the heavy workload stuff you don't like doing? Like, write it up on the board. Go. So minus
contracts,
real estate contracts. There's like document heavy business. So then saying, okay, Steve, I want you to spend 15 minutes, I want you to research what we could do to automate that part of the document process. Just get everyone in a room and have a strategy session.
What would you do to research? Would you use ChatGPT to do research, or would you use Google? Or
I'd probably use. I find now I've probably gone away from the search engines, and I probably use something like Chat or Claude much more, because they seem to be better at doing stuff like that. In real estate agents, there's lots of SMSs and phone calls and scheduling opens and appointments, and there's so many tools around it that are great for caller agents, appointment setting, things like that. There's calendar management tools. Real estate agents can have loads and loads of bookings and stuff like that. So, pick off 1, 2, or 3 things, and then work with your team and say there are solutions that can do this. Talk to your network. There's always people within your wider network that are starting to play with these things. In terms of real estate networks, there's like their franchisees and things like that. Full transparency, we've spoken to some already, because we know that's a vertical that's probably ripe for AI adoption.
Right.
In terms of to maximize value in a business like that, you want your agents out in front of customers, either presenting and trying to get the listing or selling the listing. So if they're spending 40% of their time doing admin, what if they spend 20% of their time doing admin? And then measure things like that. So
there's some massive opportunity with AI and getting in there.
No, it's people talk about AI and technology, and there's lots of confusing things out there. It solves really basic problems really well, and that's where it's at the moment. And over time, it will start to solve more and more complex problems in your business. But it is great at embedding into your business. It's like employing an assistant that can do a various different tasks that you have to do to run your business that you don't like doing, and you can teach it and train it to basically do any of those things. But yeah, it's the most common question we get is where to start.
Yeah.
And I'd just say, like, forget about the output, which is we're going to use AI to do this. Think about the input. Like, what are the workflow bottlenecks in my business? What are the operational bottlenecks? Where are the big volume compression points? And then go, okay, well, if we had a magic agent that could solve all of that, what would that look like? And then you just start to reverse engineer it from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's a very exciting time with AI. I'm really excited to see what BusinessAI can do as well. But thank you so much for sharing all of your insight, Rhys. It's been amazing. And I think the next 2-3 years, you're right, AI is going to make some transformational difference in business in terms of, I suppose, their output from what you're saying as well, and in what they can actually do. So, with only maybe 2, 3, 4 people, they're the businesses that are going to transform the world because they're using AI to, I suppose, the most amount that they can do, right?
Yeah.
You can get all these little small businesses with just a few owners, and I know a lot of the AI apps that have even been released, they've been built by 2 or 3 people. They've got AI running all the customer service and everything as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.